Doug Cauthen joins me now. Doug, you do a little bit of everything, but I want to talk about a couple of the stallions that you've been involved with recently. Dialed In, leading 2-year-old freshman sire, you were instrumental in that deal. What did you spot in him to know that he would be as successful as he has been?
You know, the first time I saw him was at the Saratoga sale, and he was my favorite yearling that year. We weren't able to buy him, but I always kind of followed him, and then he turned out to be an impressive racehorse, and I followed his career. I'm friends with Nick, and I knew he'd had some issues with his knee, had chips in his knees, and it slowed him down, or I think he might have been a Derby winner. But, physically, he was an impressive horse. His pedigree was great, and just his acceleration and brilliance of being able to really kick in is what kind of drew me to him. And he was a little off the radar, and I had left WinStar probably 6-8 months, and he was sort of the first horse that I really got that gut feeling about. And my old friend Robert Hammond had left WinStar and gone to Darby Dan, and I said, hey, Robert, I really want to buy this horse. I put in 3 of my best clients into the horse. We bought him. Mr. LaPenta stayed in, and Darby Dan was kind enough to take him and let him stand there. And, they did a great job of getting him a lot of mares, and, so far so good. He's freshman sire champion.
Is he going to continue to get better because now he's got a little buzz about him, and as you say, he has that distance ability and also the speed on his female side of the family?
No, I think that's the neat thing is because obviously he was a horse that was going to go long, and, he came from off the pace, but, he had a lot of speed. Nick said he'd breeze in 46 in the morning if he wanted him to. It's just that's the style, not only of the horse, but a lot of Nick's horses you'll see are, go easy at the beginning and kick. But the acceleration that he had was the thing, and he's passing that on, and he's having 2-year-olds do the job. And, like the filly Miss Locust Point that just won, and Guinevere, who was impressive down in Louisiana, they look like they're going to keep going further. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. And there were a couple of really nice horses that were impressive. He's had a high number of winners, a high number of repeat winners. And, I think there's still some out there that haven't even run yet. So the quality of the mares are going to continue to get better. And, yeah, he's been extremely popular. They tell me, he's full, which is pretty cool. And they're selling them for a whole lot more than we were 4 or 5 years ago.
You're on the board at Three Chimneys as well, have helped them with some of their stallions. Will Take Charge was a horse that I loved on the racetrack. I was standing there when he was second by a nose in the Breeders' Cup Classic. It looked like he had won with Mr. Horton watching. He has really stamped his progeny. Are you excited for the things to come?
Really excited. You're right. He's stamping them, not only physically, because they are big and scopy. They have a great walk about them. Almost consistently, you'll see this really, really great walk about him. But I love the mental stamp that he's putting on him. He is one of the coolest, most settled horses to be around. And I think, that was a feature that let him go on and be a champion and withstand an awful lot of racing. He was, he showed up at every dance and he kept coming back. I like the mind that's on him, and a lot of the people that I talk to are seeing that as well. So he kind of reminds me of Tisnow, who, when you would talk to a lot of the guys that had his progeny, great minds, want to be racehorses. And it's early days because they're just yearlings now. But I really have high hopes, and the pedigree's unbelievable to go along with his great physical and his talent.
Speaking of Tisnow, he's a sire of Strong Mandate, who you're also involved with. He was a horse that got good very early and probably shouldn't have. Can we look for big things to come from him as well?
I think so. I mean, I'm obviously a big Tisnow fan because I was involved with him going to stud, and he's the only Grade 1 winning 2-year-old that Tisnow ever had. He had great speed and brilliance. He won the Hopeful by the largest distance ever, and basically he had some issues that came up. I think he kind of ran on through some of those issues, but eventually it got to him. And I think, if you talk to Wayne Lucas, he said this horse was going to be my Triple Crown horse. And I think he means it. It's not, there's no reason for a sales pitch because the horse really had that speed. And I'm really impressed with his progeny as well. They've sold well, but they just constantly. There was one that just brought 95 earlier today, and they just looked the part, and it's nice to see. And I think that pedigree is possibly one of the best in the stud book. I can't find any other horse. He's a Grade 1 winner. His mother was a Grade 1 winner. Her mother was a Grade 1 winner, and her mother was a Grade 1 winner. So you got 4 generations of Grade 1 winners, which I've never been able to find anywhere else. I'm sure it exists, but if it does, it's probably one hell of a stallion. So I think he's an exciting horse, and I think it's be great for Tisnow to come on. Gemologist was a horse that I think has shown he's already had a Grade 1 winner. He reminds me a lot of Gemologist. On Strong Mandate's catalog page, I've got looks like Gemologist, and I was involved when I was at WinStar. We bought Gemologist as a weanling, so I know the Tisnows, and I think this horse has got a real legitimate shot. So you've got to put him in position to win, and I think so far he's ready.
2 others to touch on, Malice, and Fast Anna. What makes them attractive to breeders?
Well, Malice was just an unbelievable racehorse, and Curlin has proven now, standing for $150,000, that he is a great sire. And I think Malice is the best runner he's ever had. And Todd will tell you he's the most versatile horse and one of the best horses he ever trained. And, we were unlucky bringing him back as a 5-year-old. He had some injuries that slowed him down, and he didn't really get back. So he was priced very well at 20 and got a very big book and a very nice book. And I think, I haven't seen a foal yet, but I'm looking forward to one. I've got a mare that I own a piece of that I think is going to be one of the first ones, so we're hopeful to see how that looks. And I think once people see him hit the ground, they'll be breeding back to him.
And Fast Anna?
Fast Anna was a horse that I saw him in the paddock of the King's Bishop, and I still have the video, and I just basically said, wow, that is a racehorse. He'd won his first 2 races going into that race by double digits. Really fast horse, but just a gorgeous horse, and it's an amazing pedigree. It's as deep as Strong Mandates, and he lost that race by a short head or a long nose. He wins that race, and he's probably a $15 million horse. He had an injury, knee injury, got kind of off the radar, but I just always remember that King's Bishop race, and he is the real deal, I think. And he's probably one of the best looking horses anybody's going to see. His first foals are coming any day. And I think, again, if they look like him, it'll be a good thing for the breeders.
Doug, you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you. Good luck in 2017.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Doug Cauthen, advising with 3 Chimneys and involved all across the board as a bloodstock advisor.